Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hit, your source for all cricket analysis and commentary. I'm your host, Sean, joined by cricket fanatics, Rahul and Nanish, who've been following cricket for over a decade. This is the beginning of a series where we'll dive into each of the IPL teams' retentions, and there's no better place to start than the five-time champions, CSK. So they retained five players. They started with Ruturaj Gaikwad, the Indian batsman who had a very solid first season as the captain of CSK. They retained him for 18 crores, and he's looking to build upon that first season of success as the captain for CSK. Although there is some talk that Rishabh Pant could be joining the squad, so we'll see what happens there. Ravindra Jadeja got retained for 18 crores. He's on the back end of his career, but he's been an excellent all-rounder for CSK for the longest time. Matheesha Pathirana retained for 13 crores. The Sri Lankan slinger had an excellent campaign last year. 13 wickets in the IPL, an excellent four-wicket haul against Mumbai in Mumbai. Uh, he's a great player for them. And Shivam Dube, uh, he had an excellent IPL campaign last year. Made his way into the India team in the T20 World Cup and played a huge part in the finals there. I'm sure CSK is very happy to retain him. And how could we forget the evergreen msdhoni, thala, for 4 crores through the uncapped rule. So
Yep, he's emerging all right.
Thala for a reason, guys. Thala for a reason.
you couldn't have said any better. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the retention? Who should have uh, gone for less, and whose price was just right?
See, I'll be honest, I think it's a good core that they retained. I think Ruturaj Gaikwad for 18 crores. If we went into the auction, I don't know if he would have fetched that much money, but it's clear they're looking at him as a long-term prospect for the next 10, maybe even 15 years to captain the side after Dhoni left as a marquee Indian player who can leave his legacy on the team so that fans can continue to come in even after Dhoni retires. And under Dhoni's training, he'll only get better as a captain. Feel that last year 7-7 was a decent season as captain. I wouldn't say he really failed, but one thing I didn't like about his captaincy was his reluctancy to give the ball to spinners more on a ground like Chennai, where it could favor spinners a lot more. But still feel it's a good retention. He's one of your players for the future. Good to have him for 18 crores. Ravindra Jadeja for 18 crores is one I'm not in full agreement with. I don't think he's worth 18 crores at this point in his career. As you saw in the T20 World Cup, he wasn't the one of the main players for India. He is clearly in the back end of his career, and we saw Akshar Patel taking over his role in the Indian side as well. And even though in Chennai you can have favorable pitches for him, I don't know if he's worth 18 crores. Might have gone cheaper in the auction.
I just wanted to say something here. I mean, there is CSK has it what do you call that? Has this special name to them that they'll consistently take the players, even if they do bad, they'll stick to them and like they'll persist with them. Like it's not like if he's doing bad, suddenly they'll drop him and try to get him for cheaper price or something like that.
See, I mean, that's what they've been doing with Mitchell Santner. They've had him for like I don't know how many years. Say, give him a long ride on the bench.
See,
Never,
Mitchell
he's
Santner
never sees the
has a
field.
different. I agree to that, but Mitchell Santner is a different topic because he is an international player and they can only play 4 international slots. So you cannot compare Jadeja and Santner together.
But yeah, my point is, I don't know if 18 crores is worth from. I feel you can get a much better spinner like Yuzvendra Chahal in the auction, who with that money, and potentially there's all rounders like Shahbaz Ahmed who are there, who's capable of doing that role to a lesser degree than Jadeja, which I agree. But he's a younger option that you can get for cheaper as well. Is my
No, I
opinion.
agree. I no that, but I think they just wanted to give him farewell or something. They just wanted to retain him for 18 crores. Maybe they might release him the next auction,
You
something like
think they're
that.
gonna give him a farewell? I mean, Dhoni's been playing for the past like I don't know 5 years. No
I mean,
farewell still. I think.
we'll come back to
Hey, he
that.
keeps teasing. He keeps
Okay, okay,
teasing.
okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Next up, the retained Matheesha Pathirana for 13 crores, that was no surprise because the way he played from past 2 years for CSK franchise, and he led the bowling attack basically with the Deepak Chahar getting injured and many other players. There were high expectations on Mukesh Chaudhary to lead the bowling attack, also known as next Mitchell Stark for India.
Who
But
said
that
that?
never. I'm not sure. I just saw on social
I
media.
said that. I said that. But
But
okay.
he was supposed to be. I I mean, maybe that's why they didn't retain him. That he did bad. But the price that like price per player for Matheesha Pathirana, I think it's a good take that CSK did over there.
No, for sure, I agree. Pathirana for 13 crores is a steal. If he went into the auction, I think he would have definitely got over 15 crores.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer retention, in my opinion.
Yeah. Next up was Shivam Dube for 12 crores. I think he was number 3 retention. Shivam Dube. I remember last year when Shivam Dube was promoted to, I think, number 4. He plays right now, number 4 in the order. He used to play it number 4. It was surprising because all the previous years that Shivam Dube has played with Royal Challengers Bangalore, or he has been with
Rajasthan
some other
Royals.
team, or he hasn't performed at the peak that he's currently performing at. He performed above expectation for CSK, I'm assuming, last year. I think they just wanted to what do you call it? Like give him gift money. If he does bad this year, they'll definitely drop him. But given the ability he has to attack the spinners, especially at the ground where Chennai is full, like it's a ground for spinners, right? So I think they want to continue with him because other teams are gonna use a lot more spinners at Chennai Chepauk Stadium, and Shivam Dube is a great fit against spin attack. So that could have gone for less price, but again, they don't use him for bowling too, even though he's a all rounder. Maybe they used him once or twice, but that's about it. They don't use him as a bowling all rounder. But
Yeah, I think they used him once and he gave like 25 runs in 1 over, so
yeah,
sealed his fate right there itself as a bowler, I think.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Shivam Dube, if it was any team other than CSK, I don't know if he's retention material. But this team, the way they treat players as a family, and also the ground he plays at, like you mentioned, Chepauk, where spin plays such a huge role. Player like him to counter that, like everyone's scared to bowl spin against him. I mean, he kind of got found out in the second half of the season, but last year, but still he's won force against spin, and people are just scared to bowl left arm spin, leg spin, anything to him. Like they're just scared to bowl that. And at Chepauk, if you don't bowl spin, you're going to go for runs. So in that regard, I think Dube's
I want to say something about that. There were a few teams I forgot which teams, but they went on and attacked the Shivam Dube with that spin, and they got the reward for that. They got the reward. They got the reward for that. So I think it is a good thing for other teams. I mean, we're talking about CSK now, but it's a good retention and stuff. But he can be he can lose to spin too. Sometimes it's not, and especially he. Sorry to say, but with that short balls, he cannot play the pace attack.
I mean, why sorry, it's a fact. Like I feel like, I mean, he can't play express pace. Let's be honest about it. Like, I mean, he has no footwork. I don't know. People compare him to the next Yuvraj Singh. I don't know if they know the legacy of Yuvraj Singh when they're comparing him to Yuvraj Singh, but I completely don't agree with that. But he's serviceable on Chennai wickets. I'll say that, and it's worth the Indian player retention who did bowl for India in the World Cup a bit. So
yes,
maybe they're looking at that as an option as well.
So those are the top 4 retentions we have, and finally we have the thala role. Sorry, I meant the uncapped retention role. That Sean, you want to explain about that?
Sure thing. So the uncapped player rule basically means that you can retain a player who hasn't played for India in the last 5 years, or who hasn't been capped by India. You could retain them for a lot cheaper. And who better to utilize that rule on Thala himself, MS Dhoni. So what are your guys' thoughts on the rule and the retention of Dhoni?
Yeah, first, I think the first definition, the Thala rule, was better because who else are you going to use this for? Piyush Chawla? I mean, he's I don't see Mumbai Indians ever thinking of using the rule on Piyush Chawla. I guess there's Sandeep Sharma at RR, which we'll talk at a different point. But this rule was brought in for the one man, Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
See, as a fan, I do want to see MS Dhoni play again year after year after year, but we can clearly see CSK lobbied BCCI to bring this rule back to IPL, and that's why said Thala rule, even though it is the uncapped rule. But
I mean,
it's mainly focused to get MS Dhoni back. No hate to him, that he's too old. Maybe that's why CSK doesn't want to spend that much on him. Also, 4 crores is not a big amount, but do you think there is some money that's going under the table? Because Dhoni won't play for 4 crores.
see, I don't know about that, and like I don't know whether to speculate about it, but I think Dhoni is a very loyal guy. Like I think he's a very good person, and I feel like the emotion and the family aspect matters to more than the money. So I mean, if anything, the owners or like the CSK management might tell him to take more money, but we can't speculate on that. But I think the money or the status doesn't matter to him at this point in his career. He's just looking to play for the fans and trying to just play as much as he can to entertain the fans. And I mean, he's such a legend, man. He's won like all the kinds of ICC trophies there's to be won, 5 IPL titles, captaining CSK. I mean, this is like stuff no one has on their resume, or no one has. I mean, like,
I agree.
not a CSK fan personally, but like, there's nothing. It's just amazement at it. He's a legend of the game. He's seen everything there is to see. I mean, I don't think the money matters to him at this point in his career.
And last year too, we saw at times vintage Dhoni, him knocking it out of the stadium, hitting multiple sixes in a row to end an innings. It was incredible, and
Yeah,
the
man.
whole of cricket fandom was just going insane for it.
Yeah, it gave me a heart attack in the last RCB CSK game, but we'll talk about that later, actually.